Hi, I'm Jill Johnson Young. I am a grief therapist in Riverside, California. I have several websites, jilljohnsonyoung.com and therebelliouswidow.com, and I co-own Central Counseling Services here in Riverside in Marietta, California. I also write books, and one of the books I wrote is a children's grief book. It's called My Pet is Sick, and my Fred and I are going to read it to you now. I wrote this book because we rescue oodles, and we know lots of people who are veterinarians and people who have pets, and sometimes pets get sick, and we have to be ready to help them and to say goodbye to them. And that's what this book is about. And it was written for both small people and big people, and it's got help for big people on the back. I'm going to read the storybook part for you. You can find the book on Amazon or at jilljohnsonyoung.com. So this is My Pet is Sick. I am worried. We have always been together. I can't remember a time when my pet was not waiting at home for me to get home. Do you see the oodle waiting? There's a reason it looks like an oodle, because that's what we have at our house. All the oodles. When I have a bad day, I can tell him about it. When I have an argument with my friends, my pet makes the day better. Everyone should have a pet who makes your day better. I have 6 of them, and they always make my day better. On good days, we celebrate together. Do you do that with your pet or someone else's pet you know? But today, when I got home from school, my pet did not meet me. I had to go find him. He didn't wag his tail for me. He didn't want to lick my face. That's what my face looks like when I realize one of my oodles is not well. I laid down next to him. I tried to make him snuggle. He didn't seem to want to. I always get anxious when I have a moment where I reach down to pet a snuggler and snuggling doesn't happen. That tells me something's wrong. I told my parents, and they called our veterinarian. She said to come in right away. We bundled him up in a small blanket, and he sat next to me in the car. He laid his head in my hand. When we got to the veterinarian, her helper met us and took us into a room to see the doctor. Even in her purple hair, she looked worried. Usually she smiles and ruffles my pet's fur. Today she looked sad and stroked him instead. They took blood samples and his temperature and examined him. He didn't even argue about the needle. I saw my mom step out of the room with the doctor. Her helper stayed with me, and we petted and stroked him. And she told him he was a good boy and how much she had always liked him. When they came back, they both had tears in their eyes. The doctor bent over a little to look at me and said sometimes she can't fix what's wrong. She said she could not make him get well. There was no medicine that would help. We stood there for a bit, and then Mom said we could take him home and let him die there. But the doctor told her that it wouldn't feel good to him. She talked about the Rainbow Bridge and my pet being able to run over it and feel well and happy again. She said he would always know how much I loved him. I asked what would happen. The doctor explained that we were going to put him to sleep. She would give him a medicine to help him relax, and then sleep, and then another medicine that would let him die gently and safely with me holding him. She promised it would not hurt him. She asked if it was okay and if I was okay with that, or if I needed time to get ready and come back tomorrow. She said he would not feel good tonight if we did that, but she would understand. Mom and I hugged him and petted him, and we said it was okay. They lit a special candle in the front of the office to tell other people that this was happening. You see the candle on the desk? The helper brought in a big furry blanket, and we put him on it while Mom and I held him. In a minute, he was relaxing, then sleeping. Then he was so relaxed I could feel him relaxing into my arms. A few minutes later, he stopped breathing. The doctor checked him carefully. She petted him. She still looked so sad, and we were all crying. She said he was gone. He was on the Rainbow Bridge now. Mom and I took his collar and kissed him goodbye. They said they would cremate him and we could come get him in about a week to take him home. It was so quiet in the car. Mom asked me what my favorite memories were of him. We talked about chasing balls, about him stealing food from my plate, about sleeping next to each other, and about him unwrapping presents on holidays when he found them on the floor. Mom told me we were really, really lucky to find someone who we could love so much and who loved us right back. She said someday we would find someone else and share the love he gave us. Right now, we needed to have time to say goodbye because he was irreplaceable. I had a big hole in my heart when we walked in the door, and he wasn't there. Bedtime was hard because he was not on my bed. Waking up, I had to remember that he had died. We talked about him a lot, and that helped. I told my friends, and they talked about their pets who died too. My grandma sent a card to tell me how much she knew I loved him and how sad she was that he died. All the friends sharing all their pets who had died and how much they loved them. And then a wooden box came with his ashes in it and a footprint on clay and a little piece of his fur. My mom put it on the fireplace mantel. I put the footprint next to my bed. Now, before I go to bed, I can hold it and remember him and how much I will always love him. and I think about him running and playing and feeling good and wagging his tail. I am glad he was mine and will always be a part of me. This book is a book that I wrote because big people have a really hard time sometimes talking about the hard stuff. But we all need to be able to talk about pets and the pets we love and the pets we love who get sick and who've died. And we need to be able to feel good talking about that process too, so that all of us are comfortable sharing those thoughts and those feelings. When you lose a pet, you do lose them being on your bed or like Fred is right now on my lap, but you still maintain those ties to them. They never really go away from your heart. My Adele still has her collar on my side of the bed, and so does my Dolly dog. And they always will. And we have the ashes of other pets in our living room. Because when we give our heart to a pet and they give theirs back, that connection never ends. What hurts more is not being able to talk about them. So when you have a pet who dies, make sure that you continue to share how careful and special your love was for them and how much you will always love them. And be ready to give that love to another pet when that time comes. Because that way your love for your first pet gets shared with the next one. And everybody gets to feel that love. I hope this book was helpful for you. And I hope that you'll share it with others who are experiencing the same kind of losses. Thanks for watching.